Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. Today I am going to present my expected levels of global indices amid the pressure from all around over the economies of most of the countries of the world. Today we are facing a tough time, and I find that since the eruption of tariff trade war between the top two economies of the world, US and the China, most of the global indices have started to reflect the impact of tilting trade war towards economic war between the US and China. Most of the global indices are prone to decline amid growing concerns for their deteriorating economic health, which keeps on moving towards ventilators with precautionary measures from the central banks. Everywhere in the world, central banks tend to take strict stimulating action to counter recessionary atmosphere, but their every step proves more precarious, not only for the economy of their country, but prove more destructive for other countries too, which have been facing the destructive impact of geopolitical moves since June 2018. So, first of all, I would like to tell my viewers that in June, this tariff trade war started. I presented one video on my expectation of a market crash, timings and the levels, and I found that a lot of viewers feel keen to know the current position of S&P futures in the same chart which I presented on June 2nd, 2018. So first let me show you the same chart which I presented on June 2nd, 2018, in which I analyzed previous two market crashes. As you remember, that first market crash of the year 2000, where I showed that what were the levels of S&P 500 futures during the market crash of the year 2000, and after that up to what levels S&P 500 futures came downward, and second market crash which I analyzed of the year 2008, how the market crashed in 2008, from which levels and where they found resistance, and after finding resistance S&P futures started to come down with steep downward move. Friends, this is a monthly chart of S&P 500 futures which I presented in my last few analyses to explain about the upcoming levels of market crash and where the S&P 500 futures will face resistance and what will be the levels of other indices and the reasons behind the upcoming market crash. So first let me show you the current position of S&P 500 futures in the same chart which I presented on June 2nd, 2018. So friends, S&P 500 futures have reached up to this level, and after reaching at this level, they are still finding stiff resistance at this uptrend line, and as I have explained that once they cross this first resistance, this one, they will not be able to cross this second resistance which I denoted in red color. This one will be the final level, which will be a strong stiff resistance level, but here I can see that S&P 500 futures, after touching this level, have started to come down, and now they have crossed this first resistance which should have provided support when the S&P futures were coming down, but they have come down, and now I find that a more downward move which will cross this downward sloping trend line will result in a market crash, and most probably in the month of November and December, when we can see a lot of volatility will prevail the market before a steep downward in most of the indices of the world will follow this downward move, and in S&P 500 futures. So let me show you this pattern in a weekly chart for a more clear view. Here you can see that This is a weekly chart of the same pattern which I have used in my analysis. Here you can see that after crossing this first resistance, S&P 500 futures could not cross this second resistance. No doubt that they tried to remain above this level, but here you can see that a lot of selling pressure what they faced at these levels, and currently they have come down. Before closing here, they touched back to this level. This formation ensures me that S&P 500 futures are heading towards a crash in a very short time. Once they come below this downward sloping trend line, no doubt that we will see a more sharp downward moves in S&P 500 futures, because the prevailing geopolitical moves and the prevailing international scenario is not in favor of economic, which looks to encourage recessionary activities during the upcoming days. This is not only this downward trend or a major sell-off during the last few trading sessions in S&P 500 futures, but also we have witnessed this sell-off in most of the global indices during the last few trading sessions. Now let me show you the same movement of S&P 500 futures in a daily chart before moving ahead. So here you can see the movement of S&P 500 futures in a daily chart here. Here you can see that how the S&P futures have started to come down after formation of some exhaustive candles above the level of $2933, where S&P 500 futures witnessed a lot of selling from the level of 2927, and a sharp downward move was there which brought the S&P futures up to the level of 2743, from where they are consolidating at 200 days moving average. But at the closing, here you can see that they have come down below the 200 days moving average, and all the moving averages are indicating continuity of a downward trend in S&P futures for more longer term, because S&P futures are trying to break 200 days moving average levels. Once they come up to the level of 2659, no doubt that the bears will take command and they will start selling in S&P 500 futures. Now let me show you the movement of Nifty 50 futures of India in a daily chart. Here you can see that after facing stiff resistance at the level of 11,750, Nifty 50 futures have started to come down with a steep downward move as they are following all other global indices, and after coming down below the level of 10,200, they took a reversal, but after reaching the level of back up to this level, they could not succeed to move above 200 days moving average, and here you can see a gap down. Since last few trading sessions in the last week, we have witnessed a lot of gap downs in Nifty 50. Here you can see that a series of gap downs have started in Nifty 50 futures of India, and here you can see that they have already come below the 200 days moving average in a daily chart, and all other moving averages are indicating the continuity of this downward trend during the upcoming weeks. Once the Nifty 50 futures come below the level of 10,000, we will see a sharp sell-off in Indian indices too. Now let us have a look at the Shanghai Composite Index of China in a daily chart. Here you can see that since February 2018, Shanghai Composite Index is also coming downward in a daily chart, and from the level of 3,600, currently they are trading at the level of 2550 after coming down up to the level of 2450. So friends, you can see that the impact of tariff trade war and the steps taken by Central Bank of China are not evident enough to save Shanghai Composite Index from coming down. Now let us have a look at the Nikkei Index of Japan. Here you can see in a daily chart, Nikkei Index is also going through a lot of volatility, and which indicates an uncertainty during the coming months in Japan too. This is the FTSE FTSE index of United Kingdom is a daily chart. Here you can see the same quantum of volatility which indicate a lot of selling pressure on every upward move since the beginning of 2018. Here we can see that from the level of 7,800 we have seen downward moves up to the level of 6,900. No doubt that FTSE 100 tried to move upward, but on every upward move a lot of selling pressure was there, and finally the FTSE 100 has come down. Now let me show you the Russian index in a daily chart, which also indicate the quantum of selling pressure is growing day by day. Here you can see that currently after touching the level of 2480 they have come down up to 2344. So friends, be ready and be cautious during such growing uncertainty at the global level and remain cautious. Don't take any position in hurry. So friends, thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, subscribe my YouTube channel for receiving regular updates on equity indexes and commodities, and don't forget to share this channel with your more and more friends. If you like this channel, share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.